Hi there, I'm Grant and this is Rex, and today we are going to be showing you how to replace your brakes on your Ford F-150. Now this is a 2016, but this brake how-to video is going to be good for any model from 2012 up to 2020. Now if you're watching this, you probably haven't done any brake installs before, but it's okay. This is going to be really easy, I swear, and we're going to be walking you all the way through it step by step. We're going to be showing you all of the tools that you're going to be using, the products that you can use, and obviously how to do it. Let's get going. All right, we have R1 Concepts pads and rotors here. These are the rear with the rear clips or hardware, and these are the front pads with the front hardware. And then we have the rotors here as well. One of each, but there are four obviously together. All right, we got the 1/2-inch breaker bar. We have the 21mm socket, the 13mm socket, the 3/8 ratchet. These are just hand ratchets, but if you have a power ratchet, that also obviously works. Impact drill. Now you can use a C-clamp. We have a special caliper compressor tool, but this is what that is. Obviously you're gonna need some brake cleaner and a hammer to get the rotors off if you are experiencing some rust and they're sticking a little bit. And then what is not pictured here is a rag, just to wipe anything off. And yeah, that about wraps it up for the tools. All right, we got our Ford F-150 up on our lift. Now you probably don't have the ability to get your car on a lift to actually do the install yourself, so be sure that you find a jack or something to lift your vehicle up that is rated enough for the weight of the vehicle. All right, let's get going. So the first part of this installation is to remove the caliper. What Rex is showing and demonstrating right here is he's loosening up and going to remove the caliper mounting bolts. Now we're removing the caliper and we're going to place it on these bungee cords. You can use any sort of tying utensil to make sure that the caliper doesn't touch anything important. And now we are removing the old brake pads. And what's left is the caliper bracket. Now these are held on by two bolts, so you'll need the 21mm socket. All right, now we are removing the caliper bracket. Once the caliper mounting bracket is off, we're gonna be checking the slide pins, and we're also gonna remove the hardware, the clips on the caliper bracket. So what you can see Rex is doing now is replacing the old hardware with the brand spanking new hardware. And make sure to pay attention that the hardware is going in the same exact way as when you're taking them out. So you can see the caliper pins, the slide pins have some older grease on them. We're gonna remove that grease and put some new grease on them. Now we do this because the slide pins often get a lot of dirt and dust in them, and so we just wanna, while we have the caliper bracket off, it's an easy fix to make sure that your braking system gets a little more lifespan out of it. And when you're putting the slide pin back into the caliper bracket, what you want to do is make sure that it's all the way in there so that it creates a seal. All right, with everything off, we can remove the rotor. The rotor has a lot of rust. As you'll see, Rex is gonna do his best angry at the rotor routine, and there you go. That's exactly why we have the hammer. Loosens it away from the vehicle and it'll be easy to take off. This isn't something you should worry about or be concerned. This happens with every vehicle. The rotors just rust and they get a little stuck on there. All right, as you can see, we have the old rotor, nice and rusted and worn and scorched and all the bad stuff. Here's our new R1 Concepts rotor. As you can see, it's an exact match, except for the two little holes that you'll see right here. These are extraction holes. They help you get the rotor off if there's increased rust, similar to what you saw Rex do with the hammer, but this is just a different method. All right, now Rex is putting the rotor back into place. Now these rotors have a geomet coating, which means you're not gonna have to use any brake cleaner to make sure there's no oils on the outside of the rotor, so you're just good to go like this. All right, we're replacing the caliper bracket. So Rex is now putting the pads back into the clips or the hardware. Now some pads are directional. These R1 Concepts pads are not, so you won't have to worry about getting the correct pad in because they both will go in each slot. All right, Rex is putting the caliper back on, but before he does that, we have to compress the pistons. He's gonna use a brake pad to help him get a little bit of leverage to push them back in. Now you can use a C-clamp to do the exact same thing. Just be careful you don't dent the piston too much if you're gonna go that route. Now once the pistons are fully compressed, you should be able to slide the caliper back into place, and if you're finding a little defensiveness from the caliper, then you probably need to compress them a little bit more. All right, and Rex is now putting the caliper bolts back into place. Rex is using the 13mm socket to tighten these down. All right, Rex has got the wheel back on, and that pretty much wraps us up on the install of the front brakes. We're gonna show you one quick thing on the rear, and that'll be the end of the install. Now you can see the pads are noticeably smaller than the pads in the front. This is because there's more weight in the front, so there needs to be more stopping power in the front. All right, we are replacing the clips on the caliper bracket. As you can see, the clips look a lot different than the ones in the front. The R1 Concepts hardware or clips look exactly the same as the ones on the original vehicle. This is designed that way, and here they are. Thank you so much again for watching this brake install on our 2016 Ford F150. We used the R1 Concepts Geomet rotors and the Performance off-road and tow pads. For other information, including the measurements or the products or the tools that we used, they'll be in the description below. Thank you.